My name's Abdul Rasool Alwari. I'm the Imam of this Raza Mosque, Preston, and I have been serving this community for a few years' time now. It's been over 5 years nearly. So since then I'm here. So Ramadan, it's the month of fasting, and for Muslims it is a very special month, and it has been mentioned in the Quran that this is one of the 4 special months that is very important for Allah, which is God, that we believe in, and for Muslim, it is very important for us to observe this month and fast in the whole month. So this month can last up to 29 days to 30 days. So we fast throughout the month of Ramadan. It depends on the moon sighting. If we have the moon after 29 days, then following day we celebrate the Eid. Eid is the day of celebration, and if not, then we complete the counting. As Allah says in the Quran, "Sumu li ru'yatihi, aftartu li ru'yatihi." When you see the moon, do the fasting, begin your fasting, and when you see the moon and when you stop the fasting. So that's where it comes from. If it's cloudy, we use the scientific method. If we can't see for some reason, we take the science on board. We don't have exactly Preston, so when it comes to seeing there are different areas, like in big cities, London, Manchester, There are people, ulama, some of the scholars, the imams, they get together. In Preston, we call the rest of the imams in this mosque or sometimes in different mosques, and then we have the meeting, and then we decide based upon that, and then we take the witness statement from different countries, what they've seen, and we have that solid evidence. Then we make the plan whether to fast or whether to stop the fasting. When it comes to spotting the moon, we have sometimes there are people who especially go out somewhere where the clear parts of areas or high on the mountains. They go and they observe the moon and they look for the moon. And sometimes when the cloud is clear, sometimes we stand outside to see the moon as well. So what we feel about the Ramadan typically is the fasting day. We spend the whole day without eating or drinking. Before the sun rises, we stop eating, and then throughout while the daylight is there until the sun sets, we don't eat or drink anything, and we keep ourselves busy as much as we can in the prayers, in the salutations, in the remembrance of Lord. And we try to do as good as possible. We'll be kind to people, we'll be nice to people. We try to avoid any of the sins like lying, backbiting, and all the other things that we try to do in normal life. We try to do something different in the month of Ramadan to keep it as pure as possible. And we observe the month every single day, just like this. It's not just a fasting of yourself, it's fasting for your soul, it's fasting for your mind, it's fasting for your eyes, it's fasting for your belly, everything. So you give yourself a break, you do something completely different, and it's like you fighting with yourself to control yourself, to control your ability to not eat when the food is right in front of you. You control yourself when the drink is in front of you, you're not drinking, and even yourself wants to go and do something wrong, but you stop yourself, and that's in itself is a very rewarding thing to do in the month of Ramadan. So that's what we believe and that's what we follow. So before the sun starts to come up, we have a proper meal. It's called sahari. So we do the sahar early morning. We wake up, we have the meal before we begin the fasting, and then when the time ends for the fasting, we stop eating after that. Then we do the first prayer, which is called the Fajr prayer, early morning prayer, and that's also in the darkness. And then after the sun rises, same way when sun sets, we have again something called iftar. So we sit together, we wait for the time, we make the supplications, and then we wait for the time when it's time to do the iftar. Then we start and begin eating. So it could be anything from all the way to the night. We can eat throughout the night. Some people eat, some people just eat enough to last them for the morning. It began, it has been from the other, even Judaism, even Christianity, there's a fasting, but they have different types of fasting. Even in Islam, it was announced when the Prophet Muhammad was there, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they ordered him to begin the fasting for the whole month of Ramadan. and that's where the fasting began. We also had the 24-hour fasting, just like in Christianity, but then some incident took place, which it shortened the time that you're allowed to do whatever you want to do once the sun sets until the sun rises. But during that time, while the sun is out, you're not allowed to eat or drink or anything like going close to your partner. You're not allowed to do that either. You're not allowed to go close to your wife, you know, in intimacy. But you're allowed to obviously talk, communicate, other things, but not allowed to intimate. No kisses, nothing, because it exchange the saliva. So in the month of Ramadan, there's one special thing that we do. It is the Taraweeh prayer, and that is quite long prayer, and we recite the full Holy Quran. It is 30 chapter. So we recite the Imam, one person leads the prayer, and he recites the Holy Quran one chapter every day, every night, throughout over 20 salahs, the 20 steps of the salahs, 20 rak'at. So we pray. But we get like people sometimes in the first few days, the mosque is completely full, but then it slowly starts to die out a little bit. It goes down to the middle, but it doesn't stay full. But in some of the areas, it is definitely really full. But then there are special days within the month of Ramadan where there's a special incident took place. Then we have a lot of gathering. People do come. And some people just they just come there and sit there at the back. They don't want to. They're probably tired, or they're being forced by the parents. Let's go to the mosque, and you have to read the Taraweeh. Otherwise, doors are not going to be open for you. But yeah, they do come. Mostly people do come, and they do come for prayer. And that is quite long because it can take up to an hour and a half sometime. And if the Imam, the leader, if he recites a little bit slow, it can be longer than that. So then sometime, like in the summertime, there's not enough time for you to go to sleep. So you finish your prayer, by the time you go home, it's time for the sahar. And you then have to start the eating again. So it is sometimes a bit tiring in that way. Changes every year. Islamic calendar, we work through the Islamic calendar. So Islamic calendar every year, 10 to 11 days, it comes back. So it keeps moving 10, 11 days behind, depending on the moon sighting. So every month, the Islamic month maximum can have 30 days. It cannot have 31 days. So it has to have either 29 days or 30 days. So that's why every year there's a difference between 10 days or 11 days. It is a lot easier to do it because the day obviously is short, it becomes easy. But yes, in summer it is difficult for some people, especially the elderly people, or sometimes somebody who's young, or somebody who just begin to start to fast, like he grown up and he wants to do the first time or second time. It may be difficult for them, and yes, but if you're used to it, then it's fine. For the children, it is anybody who's under the age of puberty. It is not compulsory for them. Anybody who's not fit and well and healthy is not something obligatory that they have to do the fasting. But if somebody fit and healthy and over the age of puberty and they want to observe the month of Ramadan, it is obligatory for them to do as long as they can. Sometimes the children like under the age, so if they think they can do it, they do it. But there's no force. There should not be any force that the children. But when they're quite young, they see the children, they want to do something, and they do it. They sometimes enjoy. Like my own son, he's 12 still, and he's been fasting for the past 3 years. And for throughout the month, full month, we started with a few fasting over the weekend, then he started doing continuously. So now he's so used to it that he doesn't want to give up. Even in like normal days, he said, "Oh, can I fast in these days?" So over the weekend, he does that. Throughout the month of Ramadan, everywhere around the globe, Muslims come together, they open and they eat at the same time, at the same dining table, they sit all together, they begin their fasting like this, they end their fasting like this. In the mosque and in the community center, we arrange the iftar for the gathering for the people. All the people come together from the local community, they come and they break their fast in the masjid. They come to the mosque and we all come together. People like to have a proper solid meal. Some people like to have a very light meal. They want to have a solid in the morning. Some people just go with the one date. Mostly it's a fruit and some of the fried stuff, like grilled stuff, things like this. So they can have like chicken, they can have fish, they can have lamb chops, or they can have samosas or pakoras. But mostly I personally like to stick to the fruit, because if I eat too much, then it's difficult for me to eat early morning. So some people like to eat both time heavy, depending on the diet of the people, person to person. If some people who just don't eat eat as much as they do normal days. So for them, they will see a big difference in their weight. But some people cannot stay without eating. They have to eat. So they eat plenty in the iftar time in the evening, and they eat early morning as well. So may not see that much difference, but definitely there is a lose weight. So one of the funny part is the sales of Vimto has increased as well in this country. When people observe the month of Ramadan, they go out and they buy some of the Vimtos, and they like to drink the Vimto at the time of iftar. So that's why it has increased a lot, because people they like to drink Vimto a lot, I guess. I've come across a few stores personally, and the store they have to write down, please, only one person per case. So people, 24 cases of Vimto, they have to put that in. Or if there's a big bottle, they just mention, so only 2 allowed per household. So things like this, they do happen because there's a shortage sometimes, especially in local markets. During Ramadan, for Muslims especially, if you know that this person is a Muslim and he's fasting, try to avoid eating in front of him. That would make him feel to drink or eat with you, or or don't offer food to him. But apart from that, that's it. That's the only thing you can do. Just not to offer them food, or if you know this person is fasting, don't drink or eat in front of them. End of the month of Ramadan, it comes to either 29th of the last day, or sometimes the 30th, depending on the moon sighting. When the Ramadan ends, the following day is the day of happiness. It's called Eid. Eid means joy, happiness. A day of Eid. So we celebrate with the family, friends, all get together, and we come to the mosque, and we do the prayer. It's called Eid prayer. So after the prayer, we go home, we go to relatives, spend time with them, have a meal with them. So it's like a big festive thing for all Muslim. And when we do that, we also do charity, a lot of charity, and especially on the Eid day, there's a set amount called Fitra, Sadaqatul Fitr, the charity of Fitr. We give that so the poor and needy people can also join in the month of Ramadan, and they can also spend time with us, like celebrate the Eid. They can also enjoy with us. So we give charities to poor and needy people, and we celebrate all together like this, just one ummah.